Okay, another 30 seconds and we're gonna get this thing rolling. Okay, it's 1 minute past 9:30 here at Eastern Standard Time. Welcome everybody. My name is Cathy Wootton. It's my pleasure and privilege to be your host on tonight's business briefing. You know, life seems crazy busy for everybody today, and I thank you kindly for taking the time to join in here tonight. I hope you find the time really well spent. And, you know, when I first looked at this, I have to say it took me a long time to actually really dig in and figure out what all the excitement was about. Just to tell you a little bit about my story, I come from Big Pharma. I am traditionally educated in the science world. I have a degree in biochemistry and psychology. So being traditionally educated, it's sometimes hard to look outside the box when it comes to other than traditional health remedies. And I started this great job in the pharmaceutical industry pretty much right out of school. It was a great paying job with a company car and all kinds of perks. You know, my friends were still waitressing. So I thought I had, you know, hit the jackpot. And I thought I was involved in a career that was going to be, you know, certainly fast paced, but dealing with how to help improve health, how to help people manage health. But I can tell you, you know, although I was there for a long time, as the longer I was there, my eyes got wider and wider, and it became very obvious to me that the pharmaceutical industry was all about money and maybe not so much about health. So I started to get really uncomfortable in that arena. I had to sort of back away. I found myself doing some high school science teaching, and then together with my husband, I helped him with my husband's an entrepreneur, so I helped him in the office get his business up and running. But I have to say, you know, how did I get to here? You know, fast forward. In the last kind of handful of years or so, I had the unfortunate displeasure of watching my parents come to the end of their life. My father was a pharmacist. My whole life, together with my mom, they ran a small chain of drugstores in the Niagara region in Ontario, Canada. So that's obviously where my interest stemmed and my education and following my dad's footprints. But at the end of his life, I could so clearly see what the traditional pharmaceutical prescription protocol was doing for his health, and it was really scary. I wasn't open to looking at this when I was, you know, on my way, pharmaceutical, had my career on the go. But the second my father was needing something other than what traditional pharmaceuticals was providing for him, I had the reason. That was my reason. I needed to be open-minded. I needed to look beyond what I knew. I needed to find something that would help my dad when his whole career and everything he knew was not serving him well at the end of his life. So what I discovered, what kind of finally got out of my way and decided to have a look, is what I'm going to share with you tonight. So it's changed my life. I hope it gives you something to spin your beanie on, if nothing else, but maybe it has the potential to change your life too. So I hope you find something of value here. I'm just going to share my screen. There we go. And I'm going to take your beautiful faces. There we go. Okay, so I told you a bit about my story. Again, my name is Cathy Wootton, and what we're talking about tonight is biohacking. I love this slide because it really does exemplify what we're talking about tonight. We've all seen this in our kitchens. This is something called oxidation. When you peel the skin away from the apple, what you do is you take away the protective coating and you allow the apple to be exposed to oxygen. That is what's causing the apple to go brown. It's called oxidation. I always am amazed because you see heavy metals and bolts left out in the environment, and because of the oxygen, they will rust, and over time, big heavy cars and heavy metal equipment will actually disintegrate to powder because oxygen can be that damaging over time. Well, when I ask people, what do you think our biggest health threat is? What do you think humans, the biggest health threat we have? Of course, you get everything. I get, cancer, strokes, heart disease. But I'm here to tell you that the biggest threat to humans is something called oxidative stress. I'm just going to see if I can mute out here for a minute because I can hear some background noise. I'm so sorry about that. Let's see if I can mute everybody. Thank you for your patience. Okay, awesome. Technology. You don't have to be a techno whiz to do this business, that's for sure. Okay, there we go. Oxidative stress. Most of us think, cancer, heart disease is the biggest threat to human health. It's actually oxidative stress, and we've all seen it. I want to draw your attention to an ABC primetime investigative report that aired back in 2005, because you know what this primetime did? It exposed our biggest health threat, and that was oxidative stress. This ABC primetime was in fact the beginning of the biohacking revolution. This is where it all started. ABC came knocking on the door of this small biotech company because they heard that it could do amazing things for human health. It had discovered something, and ABC wanted to do an investigative report on this product. Well, if you know about the ABC Primetime, they're consumer advocates. They're trying to protect you and I from false advertising and misleading claims. So when they came to this company to do an expose on their product, they really didn't expect to see what they found. They thought they would be able to debunk and prove that what they were hearing was in fact not true. I want you to know that I grew up watching these types of shows, the ABC Primetime with my parents, and I think this is the only all-positive ABC Primetime I've ever seen. We show this video because this is where the story starts. In 2005, the world had virtually not even heard of Nutrigenomics, biohacking. This was the start of a huge movement and revolution that's still underway. And what happens after this clip is actually history in the making. I'm going to show you a bit of this little clip right now just to give you a feel for how it was like back in 2005 when people were actually seeing and discovering this for the first time.
You want to get an edge on turning back the clock with just a few pills? Who doesn't? Well, it's no longer science fiction, but science possibility, a potential breakthrough. As I found out firsthand, there may be a way to erase years, at least inside my body. Granted, it's down the road, but some scientists are wondering if a new pill I took might offer a very long life. It may not look like the fountain of youth, but inside this nondescript building, I'm about to become part of an exciting experiment. Dr. McCord, okay. I'm here at the University of Colorado in Denver to meet Dr. Joe McCord, a world-renowned scientist. His latest research could very well unravel the mystery of aging itself. And his decades of experiments may have the potential of adding years to people's lives and possibly prevent chronic diseases like cancer, diabetes, and heart disease. It all centers around this small yellow pill, and for me, it begins with a blood test. It wouldn't be the first time I've given blood for this company. They want to check my levels of something called T-bars, which is a rough indicator of a person's actual age. T-bars can identify a condition known as oxidative stress, a kind of measure of the wear and tear on our bodies. Oxidative stress, like the rusting of an engine, is not a good thing.
Bad for the body.
Leading to disease.
Leading to disease and leading to malfunction, and importantly, leading to what we call aging. It is a slow progression of increasing oxidative stress.
The problem of aging begins with the very food we eat to give us energy. As our cells burn that food, they also release toxic chemicals. Those chemicals, you may know them as free radicals, react with all the components of our cells, literally bombarding them millions of times per second, damaging all our cells. So the result, oxidative stress. We all have it. The body fights back with a system of defenses. It makes two antioxidant enzymes, catalase and SOD, whose job is to gobble up the free radicals before they can harm our cells. But as we get older, some of those toxic radicals overwhelm our enzymes and wreak their havoc. For a long time, scientists thought that antioxidant vitamins like C and E would lower it, but they don't.
It's turned out in just the last 5 years or so, we see that they're not good enough tools. They're not powerful enough.
But this pill, he says, is powerful enough. In fact, many times more powerful. And so, here I go. With that swallow, I've just become part of a potentially landmark scientific experiment. It's called Protandim, and tests on both mice and humans have already shown that it revs up the manufacture of those good enzymes in our bodies. More enzymes, fewer free radicals to harm us.
Right now, all we know is that this preparation decreases oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is not a disease, just like aging is not in itself a disease, but it's something that accompanies and is attached to many disease processes. So you can see the age-related.
Normally, oxidative stress, measured by those T-bars, increases with age. But in Dr. McCord's tests, taking just one pill of Protandim a day reversed that trend for everyone at every age, even for an 80-year-old.
They all are reduced to the level of oxidative stress that one would expect, frankly, in a newborn or a very young child.
Back to the oxidative stress levels of a child? It sounds too good to be true. Will Protandim work on me?
The scientific evidence is there. The pieces seem to make sense. The question is, does this translate into something that humans can take advantage of?
So just what's in this seemingly incredible pill? Well, actually, its roots are very humble. Protandim is a combination of 5 plant ingredients. Some you may know: green tea or turmeric, a spice used in Indian cooking. Others, Withania somnifera and Silybum marianum, are more exotic.
There's a huge human experience with each of these ingredients. They've been used often in traditional medicine in India and China and many other cultures, in some cases centuries and centuries.
And so, ancient Eastern healing and modern Western medicine may soon be working together. High oxidative stress is associated with more than aging. It's been linked to hundreds of illnesses.
It's at the very center of many diseases: liver disease, diabetes, emphysema, asthma. I've studied all of these: strokes, heart attacks, even mental disease. Yes, depression, Alzheimer's disease, depression.
Dr. James Crapo with the National Jewish Medical Center in Denver is also researching Protandim for the company.
We make no claims about curing any disease or preventing any disease. We hope that when enough studies are done, perhaps such claims might be able to be made in the future.
Clinical studies to assess Protandim in both diabetes and heart disease should start in 3 to 4 months. But what about my progress? After nearly 2 weeks now, it's time to get my results. Dr. McCord calculates the numbers. The result? My level of oxidative stress has declined dramatically.
45%, that's excellent.
Just look at where I fall on the graph, before and after.
Which, if extrapolated back, is the level you would see in a newborn baby.
Have we turned back the clock? Well, maybe not on the outside, but deep inside within my cells. Yes, indeed. For more, go to our website at abcnews.com.
So there you have it. There's a real ABC primetime investigative report that was all positive on this product Protandim. And you see, he talked about oxidative stress, and he exposed the world to oxidative stress and how that is such a huge health risk. So what really is oxidative stress? And basically, why should we care? Well, if you look on the right side of the slide here, what is oxidative stress? It is a buildup of toxic molecules called free radicals. And the crazy thing is, we produce them from within our bodies just by eating food and breathing air. As a matter of fact, the exhaust, if you will, of that process, turning the food we eat with the air we breathe into energy that our bodies can use, that exhaust is free radicals. And that exhaust is toxic. It's just like the fuel you put in your car. You know, we burn fossil fuels, we burn oil and gasoline. The exhaust is toxic, so much so that it can kill us. Well, the same is happening on the inside of us. Guess what? We're mammals. We breathe oxygen. We are bringing oxygen into our bodies with every single breath. And that is why this is a situation that's negatively affecting to our health. Oxidative stress, look at the diseases that we know that oxidative stress has an underlying cause. You look at every system in the body, and because it's at a cellular level and your cells are being oxidated, they're being exposed to oxygen because we're breathing it, over time, the accumulation of that damage causes havoc to the body. It just like the apple, just like to the rusting metals. And in our case, it causes age, potentially disease, and ultimately death. Looking on the left side, add into today, not only do we create free radicals from within our body, so let's just talk about that for another minute. Even if we were in a bubble, even if we were protected from the entire environment, we would still develop oxidative stress because we produce this damaging free radical molecule from within our bodies. Fast forward to today, when we have environmental toxins like, you know, everywhere. We're looking at the air we breathe and the water we drink and the soils that we use to grow our food. We have personal care products with pesticide or, chemicals in there for preservatives and dyes, etc. We have pesticides and herbicides sprayed on our food. Today is not the same as when humans were first, inhabiting the earth, when our natural defense mechanisms were enough. We have welcome to the industrial age. They didn't have McDonald's back then. We have them now. And all those factors are actually adding to the oxidative stress that our bodies are having to put up with on a regular basis. What can we do about it? We're talking about being hijacked is what's happening today. We're going to talk about being biohacked. So hijacked is really just the taking over and using for a destructive purpose. We know what hijacking is. And when you look at our lives today, we're being hijacked 24/7. Physically, many of us have double jobs just to make ends meet at the end of the month. Emotionally, I think all of us or many of us are stressed out for all kinds of reasons. Biochemically, we talked about the pharmaceutical arena before. I mean, there's pharmaceutical medications everywhere. It seems like everybody's on a slew of those. We talked about the toxins in the air. Of course, the electromagnetic field and all the wireless devices that we're all using. These are all things adding to the environment and adding to the oxidative stress. So what can we do about it? We can biohack. And what is that? It's all about taking control of your own biology, optimizing your own genetic potential, and becoming the best version of yourself. We are using something called Nutrigenomics. It's a brand new area of research, and it's the study of how nutrients and natural compounds affect our genes. As a biochemist, that was the most exciting thing I'd ever heard. You mean we can turn on our genes for better health? And that's what I'm saying. We're using Nutrigenomics to do that. Biohacking can take all kinds of forms, but by using Nutrigenomics, the actual food that we put in our mouth, that's the biggest and fastest way to impact your body's health in terms of biohacking. So Nutrigenomics, does food really influence how our genes behave? Believe it or not, yes, it does. And it's changing health and wellness as we know it. By targeting aging and wellness on the cellular level, nutrigenomic companies like Lifevantage are creating proven products while establishing a whole new category of supplement. It's what we call a disruptive technology. And of course, we're not the only people looking at this. Smart people are looking at where are the trends? What are people looking at in the world? Nutrigenomics comes in three basic categories. Diagnostics. People there's more diagnostics now. People are getting interesting and getting their DNA mapped. They're trying to find all interesting ways. There's wearable tech. How many people do you know are wearing Fitbits to monitor their heart rate and their blood pressure, etc.? And then you have genomics, which is your DNA code, which is understanding your DNA and how we can express it in a positive way. The Today Show had a guest who was quoted as saying, the latest trend in nutrition isn't a fad diet or newly discovered supplement, it's your DNA. And on Fox News, another guest was quoted as saying, nutrigenomics is changing everything. Where we once thought we were powerless is now an area over which we have at least some control. The ability to use nutrition to affect our genes means we're no longer at the mercy of our DNA. We're no longer at the mercy of our genes. How many times have I heard people say, you know, oh, my mother had this disease and my grandmother or my grandfather, and so I'll be next? Let me tell you, that might have been yesterday, but not necessarily today. We are absolutely learning and have learned how to turn on our genes for health. Humans are coded for health, not cancer and Alzheimer's. Our genes are coded for health. It's the constant bad lifestyle choices we make over time that accumulate to the point of mutating our genes and having us look and develop sickness and disease. But now we know how we can actually turn on the genes, turn on the good genes, and we're not at the mercy of our DNA. I love that. And it's no wonder that nutrigenomics market is expected to be in the billions of dollars in less than 5 years. Specifically, I want to talk about NRF2 activation. It's a kind of a long word. That's the acronym, but it stands for Nuclear Respiratory Factor 2. It's a messenger protein that all mammals are born with, you and I, and it turns on a string of DNA called survival genes. Guess what that does? It turns on our own body's antioxidant defense mechanism, which reduces oxidative stress. That's right. We've learned how to turn the switch back on. We're reducing oxidative stress. NRF2 activation is a pathway in the body that we're all born with. It is the process to which Protandim Nerf 2, our flagship product, operates. I want to show you here the hierarchy of antioxidants. The ones in red at the top are the ones we make inside our bodies. The ones at the bottom in blue are the ones we take from a bottle or perhaps get from food. The hierarchy shows that the ones in red at the top, the primary antioxidants, they are the most protective. They are the bomb when it comes to antioxidants. Those are the ones your body is coded to make in your DNA. That's the DNA we're talking about putting on. They will have a much more positive effect on your body's health than anything you can take from a bottle, which are the secondary antioxidants that many of us take. We're talking about a massive shift, everybody. We are shifting from supplementation to activation. And you saw on the video, when you take a direct antioxidant from an external source, like by eating blueberries or perhaps taking a vitamin, a molecule from that external source will only neutralize one free radical in your body, and then it's over. When you can turn on your genes, when you can actually turn on your body's production of your own antioxidant enzymes, such as superoxide dismutase, SOD, which was at the top of the pyramid chain there, one molecule of SOD can neutralize up to 1 million free radicals per second. There's really no comparison. If your house was on fire, would you want to try and quench the flames with a Dixie cup of water, or would you want a fire hose in every single room of the house? Our bodies are on fire from oxidative stress. We are quenching the flames by turning on our genes. This is the most exciting thing in health. And I also want to tell you that because mammals breathe oxygen, it works 100% of the time in 100% of mammals. Coming from the drug business, that's something that drugs can't do. Typically, a synthetic drug will turn on the production of something or perhaps block the production of something. But when you turn on your own genes, they work like a dimmer switch. It's the perfect scenario to quench the flame, our God-given natural defense mechanisms, and we have learned how to turn the switch back on. There is a business opportunity attached here, and I am going to talk about it a little bit in another few minutes, but I want to give you business tips as we go along. Just to impress upon you how extraordinary this is and how you are so in the right place at the right time. So business tip number one, being first. We are first in this area of nutrigenomics and turning on your natural defense mechanisms for health. It's a disruptive technology. We are on a shift, as I said, from supplementation to activation. If you walked into a health food store, you'd see all the antioxidants, all the supplements that we've all taken for years. And I'm not saying they're bad. It's just that we now know that they're not strong enough tools, just like Dr. McCourt said. Now we know how to activate our genes at 1,000,000 times more efficiently than anything you can take from the outside. That is really exciting. And of course, Lifevantage is not the only smart people looking at what's going on. Coming from, I'm a science nerd, as you know. So coming from the drug business, I am looking at all the studies. When I first looked at this, I thought, oh my goodness, look who's doing the studies on this branded supplement. I've never seen this type of research on a supplement before. Coming from the pharmaceutical arena, I know how valuable grant money is. I know how valuable research dollars are. And when we see companies and organizations of this caliber spending their own money on researching an herbal supplement, I mean, that's just unheard of, but it absolutely caught my attention. On the right-hand side, of course, I want to look, what are the pharmaceutical companies doing? Well, guess what? They're doing the same thing. They're all trying to chase down their own synthetic Nerve-2 activators. Many of the companies here on the right, I used to work for GlaxoSmithKline actually, so I know them well. They have patented molecules on NRF2 activation. Yes, it's going to be 10, 15, who knows, longer years before those drugs potentially might get to the market. That's how far ahead of the curve we are here. But I show this just to impress upon you that the drug company, the drug business, the pharmaceutical arena, they know how to make money, and they know what Nerve-2 activation is doing for human health, and that's the only reason they're all over it. The American Heart Association, as Dr. Gordon says, probably one of the most conservative organizations on the planet, never studied vitamins, nutritional supplements, CoQ10, fish oils, none of the stuff that we seem to gobble down for heart health, but they did a self-funded study on our Protandim Nerve-2. Amazing. And I encourage everybody to go to pubmed.gov. That is the repository of where all the scientific research is held, and read what the American Heart Association says about this product. It's absolutely mind-blowing. We have 26 peer reviews on our branded supplement, not just the ingredients, but the branded supplement. Coming from Big Pharma, I just want to quickly show you this. Big Pharma just bought access to your DNA through a genealogy company, 23andMe. If you've paid for the Ancestry report, then GlaxoSmithKline now owns your genetic identity. Human DNA is now a commodity. It's hard to believe, but true. The world's largest database of genetic code, serving as the new frontier for pioneer drug makers. This company and this CEO actually says that the merger of these two companies will accelerate the development of novel treatments and cures. So the pharmaceutical arena knows that if you can turn on your genes for health, there's lots of money in it and hopefully better health. This is just proof that we're in the right place at the right time. I'm going to read you a couple of science papers, not because you need to understand it or certainly research it or know it. And I certainly am not here to tell you that our products treat, cure, or mitigate any disease. But I share the science with you to help you with your belief. Because when I was first looking at this, it was just too good to be true. I needed to see the third-party science so that I could become a believer and accept this for actually the science that it shows us. Washington State University, and I quote in their study, NRF2 may well become the most extraordinary therapeutic and most extraordinary preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. I mean, wow. I beg your pardon. Here's a study done by Biogen, one of the pharmaceutical companies. They compared their drug that is on the market for MS with our Protandim Nerve-2, and I'll just read you their conclusion. Interestingly, Protandim, a dietary supplement consisting of herbal ingredients, was the most potent inducer and therefore may be the most suited as a therapeutic strategy. When the drug company proves that our supplement may be the most suited as a therapeutic strategy, that's all the validation I need. That's pretty exciting, don't you think? How about Oregon State University? When it finds a problem, NRF2 essentially goes back to the cellular nucleus and rings the alarm bell, where it can turn on up to 200 genes that are responsible for cell repair, detoxification of carcinogens, protein and lipid metabolism, antioxidant protection, and other actions. In their report, the scientists call it a longevity assurance factor. And maybe the icing on the cake is an independent study done by the US government. It's an independent study, it was federally funded, a third-party evaluation of supplements and drugs that potentially have the potential to extend lifespan and delay disease. This is a long-term study. It's not even over yet. They've studied hundreds of molecules: fish oil, curcumin, green tea, resveratrol, Protandim, our flagship product, and several drugs. Are you ready for this? Protandim was the only supplement proven to extend life, the only one, by 7%. What would you do with an extra 7% of life? I can think a lot of things. So I just want to ask you, why do you take supplements? You know, maybe to live longer, feel better? This is the only one. Business tip number 2, the only one. We don't have any competition. As far as I'm aware, Protandim Nerf 2 is the only product on planet Earth that can make the claim that we reduce oxidative stress by an average of 40% in just 30 days, and we're the only natural product ever proven to extend life. I think that's pretty exciting, and it's certainly worth considering for business. Let's talk a little bit about products, and because I had a techno glitch there, I'm kind of really running late here, so I'm going to try and speed it up. But our new product is a stack, actually. It's called the Vitality Stack. It's a combination of our 4 sort of flagship products. It's our biohacker starter kit, if you will. And the reason why I show you this is because this product won an award on the international stage before it was even a year old. And it was recognized as the best new product or service of the year in the health and pharmaceuticals category. Unbelievable. I mean, the big deal is that the Vitality Stack is less than a year old, as I said. It's getting noticed on a global scale while gaining momentum in a market that has never even been seen before. This is a brand new market of nutrigenomics and biohacking, and we're taking the big awards and having only been playing in this party for less than a year. I just think that's incredible. So Protandim Nerf 2, it combats cellular stress through Nerf2 activation. It's the only supplement proven to reduce oxidative stress in humans by 40% in just 30 days. It's self-funded study by the National Institute of Aging, which we just talked about, which proved that we can extend lifespan, that's a tongue twister, and it helps regulate your body's survival genes. We have a banned substance control group stamp of approval, so athletes, Olympians, both professional and amateur athletes are certainly safe to take this product. This is the real deal, folks. You know, we're slowing down the aging process by reducing oxidative stress at the cellular level. What's it made of? 5 herbs, that's it. All natural, no synthetic. Oh, it just rocks my world. This is why you can't go to the health food store and get all 5 of them individually and try to recreate what we've done. These are the 5 ingredients that I just showed you. Ashwagandha, bacopa, green tea, silymarin, and curcumin, turmeric, and milk thistle. The purple one here is a control, so it's just a place to start. There's no activation. They tested each of the 5 ingredients to see what kind of Nerf2 activation they could elicit. They didn't get hardly any. In fact, some of them are negative. You put them together in the patented recipe and you get this red bar on the right. All 5 ingredients together in the recipe that's patented produce an 18-fold increase in the expression of this antioxidant gene. 18 times. This is the most exciting thing. And I want to say, this is why we have patents. People say to me or ask me, oh, you can't patent green tea or, curcumin, turmeric. No, of course, those things grow wild in China and India and places. But how can we have all the patents? The intellectual property is this synergy. It's the recipe that creates this massive synergistic effect in the body. That is why we're allowed to patent it. That is the intellectual property. That is finding a needle in 1,000 haystacks. Pretty exciting stuff that we have this. We have 7 US patents, 5 international patents, and a true science patent, okay? Business tip number 3, exclusivity, folks. We're the only place you can get this product is from an independent distributor with Lifevantage. We have all the patents, we have all the studies, we have all the exclusivity, we're protected. We have this, and the whole world needs it. Protandim Nerf 1 is another flagship product. It's another activator. It's tied to mitochondrial health. It also works synergistically. The blend of the ingredients works to turn on your body's production of mitochondria and help their ability to network with each other. It increases cellular energy. What else do we see in our senior population? We see lack of energy, right? It's because their mitochondria are old. It's because the mitochondria aren't working. We have an activator for NRF1, which is another pathway in the mammal that is actually tied to mitochondrial performance, the very organelle in all our cells that produces our energy. Exciting stuff. We have a probiotic. Every time you look at a health magazine today, you know, we're talking about the human microbiome, the importance of gut flora, and absolutely it is. We have a probiotic that rocks this category of product simply because it's coated with something called BioTract, which allows it to get through the stomach acid into the intestinal tract where it needs to be, and it allows it to lay down the bacteria in the areas in the intestinal tract that it should be, and we need it. 60% get through. Do you know the average probiotic, only 4% gets through? 60% get through. That is a different day when it comes to probiotic. It also has something in it called Wellmune, which is a beta glucan. So it's kind of like a prebiotic. It helps keep the probiotic healthy as it's getting into your system. I would put this product up to any probiotic on the market today because of the coating and because we have studies that show that 60% actually get where they need to get going. And omega, the last product of the Vitality Stack, is the omega-3s, essential fatty acids that you cannot get from inside. You have to consume them from food. And this is another awesome product because we can trace the product from boat to bottle. Think of what we're talking about here, oxidation. Do you think if the fishermen left the fish out on the boat exposed to the oxygen, et cetera, that you'd be able to get some nice, good, clean fish oil? No, the second it's exposed to oxygen, it oxidizes just like the apple. And in the case of fish, it goes rancid. If you have a fish oil and you cut it open and it smells stinky like fish, or if you get the fishy burp backs after taking it, I can guarantee that the fish oil is rancid. When you can package your product, when you can package the oil and trace it from boat to bottle, you know that its exposure to oxygen has been limited, and that's why our product is so clean. I invite everybody to chew one because it tastes like lemon lime. We have fantastic skincare. Please check out the skincare. We're first to market. Oh my gosh, our skin is the first place we show age. Goodness. The True Science, Lifevantage True Science Skin Regimen, and our F2 for the skin, fantastic. Look at some befores and afters. Oh my goodness. These people are super happy with what's happening with them. No question. Love that picture. That's my friend Cathy McLeod. That was the skincare. Axio, oh my goodness. We have NRF2 for the brain. We have Smart Energy. We have a drink that will help us with mental clarity and focus. Look at this 9-year-old boy's printing. He's having a hard time staying in the zone. He can't print. He's all over the place. 1 week after activating, and look at his printing. Think of how that would affect his life when his mind is like the picture number 1. His bedroom's messy, his bed's not made, his school books are everywhere, he's disoriented and always on the fly. It affects your life. When you can have mental clarity and focus and stay in the zone, oh my goodness, that changes everything. This is empirical data, folks. This is the difference between real science and hype. Dr. Jeffrey Fannin, a 23-year veteran in neuroscience, did brain mapping, and holy tamale, I see, whoops, I can't get up there. Anyway, empirical data, it is the difference. And this is the kind of stuff that I needed to see. Another picture of brain mapping before and after in a very short period of time. We have hair care, doing amazing things. So basically we have a whole lineup of biohacking products, and you want to choose your level of biohacking. The Vitality Stack is our biohacking starter kit, as I mentioned, and that is the place that we start. I see lots. So where did we start here? Business tip number 4, we are publicly traded. Since the investigative report on ABC, the company did switch from retail to direct sales. We are publicly traded on the NASDAQ, and we have a corporate leadership that absolutely rocks. These are all things that we need to pay attention to when it comes to looking at a business opportunity. I am just going to quickly, okay. I don't mean to be distracted, but running out of time. I'm over time and I apologize for that. We have global territories. When you're looking at a business, who wants to be pinpointed into an area? We have no territories. We have a huge global market. Business tip number 5, we don't have any territory. Business has changed, folks. It's all about multiple streams of income. Really, that is the new job security. When you look at this slide, all these companies are teaching us how business has changed. Uber, people are carrying around strangers in their car to make a few extra dollars. People are renting out an extra bedroom in their home through Airbnb to make a few extra dollars. Facebook, entrepreneurship all over Facebook, and of course Amazon without hesitation. This is our competition as far as I'm concerned. If you're looking for an additional stream of income, you might be considering these types of businesses. And I urge you, have a look at Lifevantage, because Lifevantage is life-changing. One of the wealthiest men in the world has said that one of his very best investments he's ever made is into the network marketing arena. And that today, this industry is more widely accepted than at any other time in its 60-year history. Lifevantage is knocking it out of the park in the product categories of where people are already looking. You want to look at trends today? What are you and your friends spending your money on? Hair care, skin care, your pets? Who doesn't spend money on their pets? Energy, weight loss, and of course, anti-aging. It's a $300 billion industry. Lifevantage is at the forefront of nutrigenomics, and we're looking to become a $1 billion company. There's $500 billion of money being spent in all these categories right now. And when more people know about our products in all these categories and how they knock it out of the park, how difficult is it going to be for our company to become a $1 billion company? I'm thinking not that difficult. And business tip number 6, huge market potential, huge market potential. Timing is everything. We're way down here by this little purple star, not even. Most of the people you know haven't even heard of nutrigenomics, never mind NERV2 activation or Lifevantage. Nobody I know, and I've been in the pharmaceutical realm, I'm calling on colleagues that are doctors and pharmacists and they have not heard of it. I don't even think they're teaching about nutrigenomics and NRF2 activation in medical school yet. That's how far ahead of the curve we are. If you are open to an additional stream of income, you want to be involved before the world knows. This is your opportunity. Hardly anybody knows, and you should be grateful that whoever invited you on this call thought enough of you to say, hey, I'm onto something super cool, and the world barely knows about it yet. There's a huge business opportunity attached to this, and we can take advantage of this and get involved. Timing is like real estate when it comes to picking the best corner. In this kind of industry, in direct sales and network marketing, timing is the most important factor, and it is truly on our side right now. When you are identifying opportunity, these are the categories, the topics that you really need to pay attention to. Opportunity in the marketplace is because of a process of convergence of forces that were previously not together. Peter Drucker, the founder of Wikipedia, if you're not sure who he is, he's a super smart guy, and he says this is what you have to look at when you're evaluating opportunity. We have products that knock it out of the park. Timing doesn't get any better than what we have right now. Trends, the world is spending money and looking at anti-aging, better health, nutrigenomics, and we are out front waving the flag. The company has been around. We've had our 10th year anniversary. We have an executive team that just rocks my world. We have awesome guys driving the bus. Collectively, their experience has brought multiple companies to billion-dollar level in revenue. They know how to do it. They've done it before, and we're uber grateful and so lucky to have them on our executive board, and they're taking us to $1 billion. And those of us that are involved are going to ride that wave. The system. We don't let you join and just flounder around up there. We have a system you can plug into. It teaches you the ABCs of this business and specifically this company. So that's the best part. And we have a compensation plan that just rocks my world. I have seen it written up in Success Magazine. It's one of the most generous compensation plans I've ever seen. I have had some experience in this industry previously. And this one rocks. It pays the little guy. It pays us that are just getting started enough to keep us involved and engaged in earning some money so that we can hang around until the big back end money grows to the point of causing a steady legacy type income. The compensation plan is spectacular here. I want to talk about residual income just for a minute, and I'm so sorry, I'm already 15 minutes late. So this is the last, I have 2 more slides. Residual income is not like linear income. Most of us work linear income, trading time for money. And that's what we've been trained. I went to school to do just that. But the reality is, when I didn't work, I didn't get paid. If I got sick, I didn't get paid. And I'm retired now. Do you know the scariest thing about being retired is having to spend your retirement savings? I don't plan on checking out anytime early. I plan on having a long, happy life, especially because I'm living activated, but I don't know how long that will be. And so spending your retirement savings is really unnerving. The other thing about being retired is I miss the social life for sure. And frankly, I miss the cash flow. I miss the money. So what can I do to sort of bring some cash flow into my life during my retirement years, have some fun, do something social, meet some new people, travel? I got involved with Lifevantage because it spoke to me. It spoke to me from a health perspective, comparing what I learned to where I came from. And what does residual income mean? It means doing the work once and getting paid for life. Well, I can't sing or dance. I haven't written a book, and I'm certainly not a movie star. So what am I going to do to develop a residual income for myself? Most people will say, well, maybe you could save up your money. Do you realize to make an extra $1,000 a month, you have to have almost $250,000 in the bank saved up? You can't touch that money. You have it invested, and it's going to pay you $1,000 a month. And that's if you can find a place to invest it at 5%, which is very difficult. What if you need an extra $5,000 a month in your retirement years? The thing about retirement is you have time to finally do the things you want. You have time to do travel. You have time to maybe spend with your children and grandchildren. You want to spoil them. You have time, but do you have the money? If you need an extra $5,000, you'd have to have $1.2 million saved in the bank, invested at 5%. That's just not feasible for most of us. So a residual income offered by network marketing is something that we can all take advantage of. This opportunity is open to absolutely everyone. And I highly recommend you have a great look at it. We talked about the pay plan. I invite you to get back with the person that invited you here for more details. If you see anything here that piques your curiosity, if you see something here and say, man, I need to know more about that, I encourage you, please get all your questions answered, because this business changed my life, and I know it's changed lots of lives, and I hazard a bet it could change your life if you give it a chance and you look at it and get all your questions answered. As a publicly traded company, we are super proud to show you our audited income statement. These are real figures. Pro 3, our foundational rank. The average Pro 3 makes almost $600 a month. Would $600 a month coming into your mailbox month after month after month after month make a difference? Absolutely. It's a car payment. It's a cell phone bill. It's groceries for the family. What about Premier Pro 5? The average Pro 5 makes over $2,500 a month. What would that do to your household coming and landing in your mailbox month after month after month? Pretty sweet, let me tell you. We've come to the end for the most part. I just want to say to you, if you see anything here that catches your attention, your curiosity, I really hope that I've given you at least something to sort of spin your beanie on tonight. I want you to know that we're looking for entrepreneurial minds. We're looking for people that see this like we do. We're looking for people that maybe want to link arms with us and share this with the world. But we do know this adventure may not be for you, but better health is for everyone. So thank you so much for your time tonight. I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and I highly encourage you, get back to the person who invited you, get your questions answered, and I'll see you at the top. Have a good night. If I can figure out how to turn it off. There we are.
You were fabulous.